Hey, and welcome back to another video. It's been a while, but in this video I want to dive a bit deeper into the matchup between Ilia and Charles. I've said in the past that Charles has a 45% chance of beating Ilia, and I still stand by that. I know the argument here is that Charles always gets dropped and is easy to rock since he leaves his chin open in all his fights. Also, that he is considering a quitter, but let's not act like Ilia is the better wrestler and grappler here. Charles only loses to Islam and Arman because they ain't scared to grapple with Charles, which makes Charles uncomfortable since he is usually the one dominating the grappling. Ilia will also not be afraid to wrestle and grapple with Charles, but Charles is the better grappler between the two. He is also bigger and taller, which will be noticeable in the fight. Ilia's only path to victory in my opinion is by knockout. Just like against Volk, he was losing, and was getting pieced up until he landed those big shots on Volk, which took him out. This fight will be a bit similar, just that Charles is less hesitant than Volk, since he has actually power, and can get finishes unlike Volk, because Volk's only path to victory was by a decision. And these guys like Islam, Charles and Ilia who always hunts for the finish. Also, in my opinion, Charles did pretty good against Arman, and I would pick Arman to beat Ilia. So if Charles can stand his ground and strike with Ilia using his range, kicks, elbows and knees in the clinch, and also start wrestling, or holding Ilia against the fence when things get tight on the feet, he should be able to get a late TKO or a close decision win. But it would be funny if Charles submits Ilia after all the trash talking he has been doing recently. Also, this is a matchup for Charles that he don't need to worry about getting controlled in ground and pound. Charles has been hit hard by Dustin and Justin, and took it, and won. So I believe Charles will get it done, or at least can get it done, even though Ilia is more likely to win this fight because of his momentum. So as long as Charles ain't getting backed up, he should win this fight. Because remember, only reason why Volk and Max lost was because they chose to strike with somebody whose game plan is to back you up and get in the pocket so he can land his all-power punches, which will eventually put you out no matter chin. But I know Charles won't let Ilia back him up, and will be more aggressive than Volk and Max, but that could also lead to him getting chinned. But at least this way it increases his chances of winning. He needs to let Ilia know he is not somebody who can just be backed up that easily, because that will make Ilia uncomfortable since he is used to back up every fighter he has faced, despite getting hit a lot, because he knows that knockout combo will land. Also, another thing is, Charles knows this is his last chance at gold, and if he loses this, he will never fight for a belt again since there is Arman and Patty in the line. So Charles should be locked in for this fight, which I think he is. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if Ilia wins by TKO. Only thing I would be surprised by is if Ilia submits him, but that won't happen. Another thing I have seen in Ilia's game is that he ain't the best defensive striker either, because he takes a lot of hits to be able to land his combos, which he can't be doing against Charles, if Charles chooses to wrestle when Ilia gets close with power punches. So to summarize this fight, I think Charles will be able to take Ilia's punches early on, and will piece him up with his Muay Thai, and hopefully wrestles to slow Ilia down. And in the late rounds, Ilia will probably lose his power, and will almost be kinda useless. That's when Charles can take advantage of, but Charles do also slow down in the later rounds. So that's why I have Charles winning by a close decision, or one of the guys will get a finish under 3 rounds. But nonetheless, this fight will be a banger, and I'm very excited. And the winner will fight Arman, which is also a banger. Let me know in the comments who you have winning and by what method. See you in the next one.